your brains working here, because this may be the only opportunity you have to ask, other than when you've got a crew sitting there that's telling you how much extra it's going to cost to do this, this, and this. And these guys are going to tell you, we're going to ask you some questions on what's the real cost, what's the pitfalls, what you should or should not do, what permits are really required and what are not, because you will be given some things, I promise you. I talked to the manufacturers earlier, or late last night. Two things right now that are lacking in this industry. Movers, freight people. They all abandoned the industry when the production levels went down. So guess what? Nobody was buying new trucks and whatever, so they're using old equipment. Heard a story last night about a manufacturer had a home transported from Alabama, went through somewhere in one big city, I don't know if it was Birmingham or Nashville. The driver didn't realize that the overhang was 12 foot X amount so, and guess what happens? Goes underneath the underpass and the home gets stuck. Well, you'd think that's bad, but what happened after that was very tragic. There was a family, I believe it was a mom and 4 kids. They come up onto they're traveling at 55 miles an hour. Of course, they slowed down, but they hit the back of the mobile home. What happened next was the real tragedy. There was a gas truck behind it, going 50 miles an hour, and unfortunately he didn't slow down in time, and there was an explosion that killed the entire family. So, and I'm not saying that was one instance, but you have to be really careful when you're using these type of folks to set up your home and so forth. Dave.
Are you ready for a question?
Let's do it. Oh, by the way, Vic Turner, Cole Phillips.
If someone's considering putting a home on abandoned lots, been empty for years and years, how concerned should they be about the slope of the lot and water running under the home? That's something that isn't asked in advance a lot of times.
First, let us introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Victor Turner with Advantage Plus Mobile Home Services. My company's located right across the state line on I-20 in the Talladega, Oxford area. We do install in Alabama and in Georgia. We're not really limited in what areas we cover there. I do own an install and transport company. We do used and new mobile homes. So that covers me.
My name is Cole Phillips. I started in 1995 in the retail division. We still own our retail lot. 2005, I bought 2 big parks. I acquired another park, a large park, so I'm a community owner also. And moving into a little different sector of the business. But if anybody knows anybody that's outside that is looking to buy a park, you need to get them in here, because what we're about to tell you and talk about is probably the most overlooked due diligence that you will run into. And when I say that, here's what I'm talking about is that, you guys look at your spreadsheets and your P&Ls of these parks, and hey, look, we got a park that's 50 empty spaces. There's a lot of potential there, and you buy on that potential, but the lack of the due diligence on what we do is bad on your part. It's going to cost you dearly. And to just go over a couple of things, to start this thing, is that in the past 10 months, I have overseen and or set up 125 new homes in parks across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And that's a lot of homes. And I could sit in here and tell you many horror stories that cost a lot of money because of a lack of due diligence and the changing times of the local government and with HUD that we have to deal with when we set up a home. I'll give you a startling thing. 2 weeks ago, I went to do my license in Georgia, and there was 40 people in the room to get your license. And well, 2 of them were installers. 38 of them were sent there by the counties of Georgia. So the counties are educating their inspectors a lot more than what they used to. matter than that. It's just tenfold what it used to. So we have to start now dealing with more educated inspectors. Now, that's good and bad, but you need to realize that will be that cost that we're going to incur will be passed on to you. And with HUD changing some of their regulations that we have to set up with now, things that we used to do and that you may be accustomed to and that you will get accustomed to if you buy a part are changing. It's just amazing what we're doing. And the other aspect of this is probably the most important part is if you're looking at buying a park and we got 50 empty pads, okay, there's a lot of potential that you see that you can put in these new homes. And but the overlooked part is that you guys go to the lots and you measure it out. Hey, I can get a 1680 in here, you know. You're right, a 1680 will fit on that lot, but when I hook a 20-foot truck to it, that's 100 feet that I've got to try to get that house off of a main road to that lot, okay? So when I show up with a truck and I tell you, hey, we got 3 trees that need to be cut down, we got a house that needs to be moved, we got cars all in the way, this is the part of the due diligence that you're overlooking, and it's going to cost you. So the things that we do, you bring us in on the wrong end of this deal. You bring us in after you've ordered your home, and it's coming, and you know, hey, I got a home to be here in 2 weeks, we need you to set. We ain't seen a lot. We don't know where it's going. We don't know how we're going to get it on the lot. So you're bringing us in on the wrong end of it. We should be the first call you make before you ever think about ordering a house. We should be looking at your lots to tell you what house should actually go on it, not what you want to put on it, but what it requires and what we can put on it. So that's kind of brutal, but that's just the fact of it.
And I can pick up right there, what David mentioned, that parks, I noticed lack, is site prep. Y'all may not realize that the site prep is a huge factor, especially in setting new homes in your park. The installer, the renter, or owner of the home is not responsible. It's the park owner that is responsible for site preparation. And when you're doing your due diligence and going through cost, that's something that's always overlooked by park owners that I see, is site preparation, which is very simple but important. And it's just that 10-foot diameter around the home, the water needs to drain away and not be able to stand under the home. And you know, that, just like my company, we offer site preparation. Most installers, you don't have to get with the excavating company to come in and give you pricing on that. Most installers do offer that service also. So that's something that's important that I see is always overlooked in parks.
Questions? Questions? Just.
I'm from Missouri, and we've been dealing with what these guys are talking about, a whole lot there, and I'm just going to add just a little bit to what they're saying. In Missouri, the Public Service Commission started implementing these HUD rules 5 years ago. So we're way ahead of you on this. The good thing that you have in most of these other states, what I'm seeing is they only have one person that's running around the whole state checking things out. Where in Missouri now, they've got 5 people. It's a money grab. And what happens in Missouri is that the actual, since the people who own the communities weren't doing the proper way of going about doing the lot prep, they've now come back into the mobile home center, and whoever stickers that house with their license, they're having to, they have to guarantee that that site prep is correct. Now, you know, you think, well, what's that actually mean? And I'll give you a perfect example. We did a home for a company that a guy came in and set the house, and the state came in and would not allow them to move into the house because the site preparation wasn't correct. Now there in Missouri, we have frost, and they had a regular concrete slab that looked very good, but it wasn't the proper foundation. We have to have 24-inch piers 24 inches deep in the ground, so that it cost that owner of that community, because he couldn't move anybody into the house, he paid us to come in, pull the house off, put in new piers, raise the piers 10 inches higher than the ground level so that we could get the runoff and get the slope underneath of the house, and then put the house back on. But this particular guy, I don't know what he paid the first guy to do it, but he paid us $9,000 after, so that he could get somebody into his house. So I can just tell you, as all these other states to start implementing these rules, Missouri's way ahead of you, we've seen it for a long time, but you guys are gonna have, it makes it tough. It makes it real tough, and you know, when you got a brand new house and your first payment's due, and they're saying nobody can move into it because we're red tagging it.
Right, and that goes back to what I'm telling you. I'm not discouraging you. I don't want, you know, the brokers shaking their heads or whatever. I'm not painting a bad picture here. I just want you to be aware that you bring us in on the wrong end of your deal. Yeah, we should be the first people that you call if you want to know the truth. I own 4 large parks. You know, I've been in this business a long time, and it is done incorrectly by you guys. And like I told you, it cost you dearly, and it did him. And that's money that's hard to recoup, and that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, from an installer standpoint, with park owners, it's different from your average home buyer. The park owner consumes a lot more responsibility than an average, an average person does. When a home goes into a park, the state of Alabama, state of Georgia, those are the two I'm familiar with. And I don't know what the laws are where you're from. And, you know, it's something you need to look into as a park owner, what your laws are and who's responsible for what, because, you know, every state's a little bit different as far as who they hold responsible for what. But in a park, if you have a used home or a new home, they're going to hold you responsible and not the installer as far as what needs to be done properly, and that's going to be site preparation. And you know, the install part, we are responsible for that. You know, if it was installed properly, tied down properly, and there's an inspection put in place to see that our job is done correctly. And once that inspection is done and it's passed, therefore the park owner, homeowner is going to be responsible from that point forward.
Okay, question here.
I'd just like to concur a lot with what Cole and Victor said. My name is Kurt Kelly, and we insure about 500 independent retailers plus about 1,500 park owners. And we get all the phone calls that Steve was talking about, the bad things that happen when transportation installation goes wrong. So just thinking about, if I give 3 tips to everybody on their operations, because as park owners are starting to get more and more involved in installations, transport, setups. One is you've got to make a great choice. If you're not choosing strong on who your installer and your transporter is, and you're not taking the time to choose them correctly, it's a big mistake. Number 2, it's been in the history of our industry, we've not used written contracts for the transportation installation portion of the deal. That's a mistake. You should. These guys will typically have forms you can use, which are good. We have one on our website at mobileagency.com. It's in the forms section. It's titled the Transporter Installer Agreement. If you don't have one, I would recommend you start with that one. It's got a good stuff listed on it. The third thing, when you have trouble, and inevitably there will be trouble, a lot of your state associations, one of the things that Jim and some of the state associations have put together is they put in places where a third-party state independent evaluator can be called in to do to check an inspection installation. And that's oftentimes a great thing to do, because you have a third party that's looking at your installation and they're going to set a standard, and if you can fix the things that they've said, it saves you litigation, arbitration, etc.
Hold on just a minute. Kurt, stand back up if you would. When we did the vendor introductions yesterday, Kurt wasn't in the room, so I'm embarrassing him and ask him to just look around and for everybody to get a shot of this, who he is and what he looks like. But he is one of our important vendors and has been very valuable to our industry. We use him to insure one of our communities. Specifically, but that's immaterial. But his company is really good, and they do have excellent forms and that you can use to tighten up your operation. And if you haven't met him or seen his display, you need to do that before you leave today. So I think we have a question. Okay, we got one here, and then we'll go next.
Mobile insurance.
Yeah, mobile insurance.
And the website's mobilemutualty.com. You're all invited to look at our form section. We do have some real difference we've collected over the years from all the associations, all of our partners.
Mobileagency.com, right?
Yes, thank you.
How do you know exactly how we stay in compliance? Like what agencies do we reach out to our communities? And also, I know you said you do Georgia and Alabama. Do you guys refer anybody? I've talked to North Carolina, and I honestly am just kind of starting from scratch, so I'm not sure even who to call that's reputable.
Yeah, so the first place, if you're out of state, is your local, your state, like Manufactured Housing Commission. They're the first one. They'll give you a list of you'll tell them, hey, I'm going to Charlotte, and then they'll give you a list of people in that area. Now, they're not allowed to tell you who to use, so you're kind of shooting in the dark there, but, they will give you the list.
And I would say it's been a lot of you guys have come up to me and asked about, and told your stories about installers, and installers do have a certain stereotype, and their presentation to their customers are, a little sloppy. And just as myself, I'm part of our crew. I also drive the truck. So therefore, a lot of our business owners are not able to reach me exactly when they would like to. Unfortunately, that's a problem, but if you have somebody you'd rather have somebody like that who is good and hard to get a hold of rather than somebody who you get a hold of them all the time and maybe it's not that good at what they do. And also pricing was brought up. You'll always shop around and compare cost, and just as any other service, cost may not always be better. It depends on what you're looking for as a property manager, a park owner, or if you own several parks. I have some customers in the room that we service all their parks, and they don't have to shop around. A lot of times, because I do all their work, I'm the cheapest, and sometimes I'm not. But we have a relationship where they can call me and say, I've got a home coming in next Wednesday. We need it set up. We got a tenant going in there Monday, and we prioritize them and get right to it. They don't have to worry about the quality of workmanship we're going to give them. And that's very good to have a relationship with your installers. Get one person and stick with them, and don't, within reason, don't worry about if they charge you an extra $100. Don't feel like you're being shafted. We have some people that are several $100 cheaper than us, but they don't quite, their cost of operation is a little less than ours. They have a little less equipment, a little less manpower, and a little less insurance. All those things are to your benefit. You're just you're paying us to do a better quality of work. But to answer a lot of questions in this room, there are companies that you need to find the match you're looking for. A lot of people have their own service guys in their park, and they just need somebody to come level and tie down their home, and then they want to take care of everything afterwards to save money. And then there's also people in here that own parks and need people like Cole and myself that come in and handle everything from electrical, sewer. They just want a turnkey operation, and there are companies like ours that handle that. But you just have to find your match, pick what it is you're looking for, and explore a couple of relationships and view cost and
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, you briefly spoke towards owner's responsibility for the lot preparation. The only one you mentioned really was the 10-foot runoff. Are there other requirements as well that are starting to be required for a lot to be prepared? And then number two, are some of these new policies going to affect established lots from older communities?
Yes and no. Like I said, as a park owner, you do consume responsibility. And the biggest issue, there's two big issues with site preparation. The largest liability to a park owner is water standing under the home can cause mold. And once mold gets in a home, it's very deadly. So that's your biggest liability reasons. And then the other one is just the set of the home. If you have water running under your home, it's washing away the foundation, so it causes settling. So those are your two main issues with site preparation.
If you're in the north or colder climates too, then you've got the frost issue. David Voss, who spoke up earlier, is an installer in Missouri, okay. And then I think Jim with Florida had want to comment to that.
Yeah, just a quick one. Yesterday at lunch, George Allen was talking about yesterday being a historic event, and not in a good way. And that was HUD was meeting with the Manufactured Housing Consensus Committee. Late yesterday, HUD has come out and said that they're going to be issuing a technical guidance for installations, mainly in the frost areas of the country. And what they're doing is HUD, while there's minimum requirements that every home needs to be installed to, HUD believes that in some of the frost states, they don't like what the states are allowing. And so they're going to come out with more prescriptive requirements for home installations. And what we're seeing is HUD is trying to get more involved, the federal government is trying to get more involved in local installations. And so they want to take it away from the states, they want to push it up to the federal level, which would be a travesty. Again, going back to MHI and MHARA, it's really important to support our national associations. We need to get the federal government out of our business. And so yesterday, they decided to go that next step, which is unfortunate because we can do it better at the local level. We can do a better job and enforce it better at the local level than they can, at the federal level. So we just need to keep working on that. So George, thanks for the update, and hopefully we'll be able to get through this.
Yes, ma'am, in the back, please.
Yes, my question has to do with installation with all the new regulations. Do you install by the manufacturer's installation manual or by the state?
Okay, so
Codes first, and then how do you determine pier distance?
That's
as
right.
far as soil testing?
whenever you order a new home, that home comes with a setup manual from the factory, and we go by their code. Now, if you're doing used homes, we go by a different code because that manual's not available. So we go by the state code, which is a little bit different. But we go by what the manufacturers want, how they want us to set it. And in that is pier spacings and tie downs and anything else that they want to do. That's what we say, and that's how we're inspected by. That inspector will come in, look at that setup manual, and that's what he will be inspected on.
All right, we have one more question. We knew this was going to be a good session, and so I'm sorry that we're not going to get to all of them. Find these guys before you leave and talk to them. And but we have one more question, then we need to move on.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm a Georgia community owner, and my question is, one problem I'm having now is the park island was developed in the mid-70s. Septic systems were city water and septic. The septic systems some of them are getting compromised now after years of use. Is there any technology out there that y'all seen that can create maybe a smaller footprint that also meet the Georgia guidelines?
For your sewer system?
For the septic systems that we would have to replace. I've heard rumors that there's possible new systems out there to lower the footprint of the drain field?
Wouldn't Pop have you heard anything? I mean, I call him Pop, it's my dad, but he had setup license, our sewer license is a stage 2, so he might can answer that.
Most of all, the old parks is, has got these individual septic tanks are usually too small to put another system there in to make that work. We usually have a problem with the health department getting approved. You would have to usually looking at an engineer to design a system for you, but yes, there's a lot of different systems out there that would.
Right, and to further that, since we're talking about a sewer system, if you had an older one, it was probably state of the art when it was put in. And times have changed, and whenever you start messing with sewer systems, then you're going to get health departments involved and all that stuff, and then you're going to, you know, open up a new battle. One thing, see, now I don't mean to prop myself, or I know y'all don't discourage me with that, but part of what I do is, after talking to, coming last year, and I'm trying to fill a void, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the only one, but get a guy like myself or a Victor or something like that, and get us involved in your due diligence when you buy these parts, because what we're talking about here is very, very expensive. It's going to cost you a lot, and you're better off just applying it and knowing what you're getting into before you pull the trigger instead of after. And I can't tell you that enough, because that's the problem that we're seeing.
Okay, thanks. One thing I wanted to add, that as I was listening to y'all, very simple statement. A bad install, a new home you just get ready to purchase in your park, that all of us are going to probably lease option, sell, rent. 6-7 years down the road, you sold it to your tenant. Maybe they paid it off, and all of a sudden now the home settles and some walls start cracking. Guess who's going to be liable? Probably you as the community owner. So this aspect is very, very important. And what Cole said, back in, I can remember 5-6 years ago where an empty lot was worth nothing in a park. Did everybody remember that? It was all income based. Everybody had their own rules about how much an empty space was really worth in value and equity. That's all changed today. There are these, a lot of companies paying 10, 12, 15,000 in some cases just for an empty lot. You better know how many empty lots you have if you're paying that much for them. That's kind of what he's talking about. But
all of your planning and zoning people, can you hold this? All your planning and zoning departments now have GIS maps. We just reprinted these. This is one of my communities. You can buy this for about $15 or so. Turn it everywhere. See this thing? The reason we just reprinted these is we take these maps and we draw on them where we think all of our water lines are, where our septic tanks are, and we learn things as we work on our properties over the years. So our maps were getting old, and we had lines crossed out, so we just reprinted these, and we're now going to go transfer all the information we have related to the infrastructure of our parks onto these maps. And so you all should get this map for your community and then start filling it out. Where is your power pedestal? Where is your water meter? Where's your septic tank located? And this will help your installer determine where he's going to maybe put the home. If you bring him in advance, he says, we can't put it there, that's where the septic tank is. And so this will help you get organized.
Where do you get that map?
In Georgia, each county has a planning department. If you want to build a house, you got to go to the planning department and get a permit. And it's called a GIS map. You can put it at home on your own computer, but you can't get the big printout. So it's easier just to go to the county and they'll scale it just to fit your own property. But then when you go to sell your property, I've sold some parks. You show this to the new owner, they're going to love you. They're going to not negotiate as badly with you when they know that you know what's going on, and when you take over, you know what's there. And so this will help you get a better price.
All right, thank you guys. We're going to take a 10-minute break and we'll come back.
Vote.